What's up, guys? Welcome along to a new show, the TexAgs High School Football Show. It's Ryan Brauninger. I'm joined by Jason Howell. Each week, we'll be coming to you to preview the latest in Texas high school football, our travels, where we're going, some top players and some top games around the state. And who knows, maybe at some point we'll get some of these high school coaches in on the show, talk about their kids and their upcoming games. So just a new concept that Jason threw out there, and I thought it was a really good idea. At one point, we were doing our TexAgs Game of the Week where we highlighted one game. This gives us the opportunity to really highlight multiple games across the state in Dallas and in Houston and potentially even off toward Austin in the Hill Country area as well. So, Jason, welcome in. I love the idea. Both of us have been quite a few places already in the preseason, saw some scrimmages. I guess we'll start with what has stood out to you up there in the Metroplex as we get ready for this 2021 football season.
Well, I hit all the commits. I was able to see Hunter Erb at Eaton. I was able to see Ish Harris, Jaden Scarlett out there at Argyle, getting used to a new environment, and stopped by Wiley East. And, just the growth and development. I mean, watching Hunter Erb move around, he's looking like he's ready to go. Ish Harris, my goodness, man. I don't know if you saw those highlights we put out earlier. He just looks like a man amongst boys out there at practice. And Scarlett, he's raring to go in a new environment with one of the state's top programs out there in Argyle. And then Wiley East, I mean, Anthony James he continues to take strides. You see the athleticism, the length, he's got some improvements to make out there. I want to see more strength there and some technique. But my goodness, man, you can see it. I think that first clip where he's dropping into coverage in drills where it's just like 6'5", 240 should not move like that.
Yeah, his athletic gifts are off the charts good. And I think that was one of the big reasons why so many schools were attracted to him so early was that length and size accompanied with, what was he, like a 4'6", 4'7", 40?
Yeah, I think he clocked a 4.65 last year. That was in Durant, Oklahoma, before his sophomore season.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I mean and he's only gotten stronger, and he looks like he's raring to go there under Coach Gold and Coach Rose out there at Wiley East. Should be fun year at Wiley East.
Well, I haven't gotten to get to as many campuses as you have. Coach Jim Schlossnagel has kept me pretty busy on the baseball recruiting side of things. But I was able to get out last week and see two scrimmages I saw here locally, College Station scrimmage Temple. And then on Saturday, it went down to Cy Park and saw Harold Perkins in scrimmage Brenham. And I'll tell you what, man, now with Quinn Ewers reclassifying, we've moved Harold Perkins to our number one player in the state. And it's by default, but it's not, he's got every attribute of a number one player in the state. It's incredibly explosive and sudden. His ability to time up blitzes, the twitch off the edge when he's, rushing the passer. He's just a playmaking linebacker to the likes I've never covered in this state. No doubt lay down 5-star talent. He played running back. He'll play both ways, which at a 6A school, not many guys play both ways. Perk will play both ways and have a huge impact on both sides of the ball. Had a play where it was kind of busted in the backfield. Ball ends up on the ground. He picks it up, reverses field, and lays an incredible stiff arm on a really good player from Brenham and Eric Hemphill. Lays a stiff arm to him. And he told me after the play, he goes, I was going to hurdle the last guy, but my quad and my knee have been bothering me, so I didn't get the chance to hurdle him. But if he'd have hurdled him, it'd have been a viral video because of the stiff arm ahead of it. Just an incredible, incredible player. And then the night before, Temple's got Mikhail Harrison Pilot, highly offered 2023 kid. He made some nice plays. They could tell they were kind of being cautious with him with their season starting the next week. But I tell you what, the most impressive thing I saw all weekend was that College Station offense. And I know that they're in that really tough 5A Division I Region II with a bunch of your boys up there in Dallas, Jason. But this College Station team looks like they're going to be really tough to beat. And everybody's already talking about that second-round matchup with Denton Ryan again, potentially. That one this year I think will be much more competitive because this College Station offense, they go fast. They returned everybody from last year. They had a kid, Jake Utley, move in, a 2023 offensive lineman, moved in from California, 6'5", 310-pound kid. So it only helps their protection. Man, I just don't know, Jason. I told Walker Lott, our intern, I said,
yeah,
College Station isn't just good. They're really, really good. I was super impressed about the level at which they played at in that opening scrimmage. So here locally, that'll be one to follow. I think they got a chance to make a run at this thing.
College Station's routinely one of the more slept-on teams in the state, considering they routinely make that run in the playoffs. They're always contenders, and it's that Central Texas, Brazos Valley bias, I guess. Man, they just don't get the recognition they deserve. Well coached, great athletes, and I look for them to make a run. Like you said, they got that offense humming. And on Harold Perkins, he reminds me so much of Marcel Brooks, but he's actually a true blue linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just incredible, off the charts with the athleticism and twitchiness out there. So I'm excited to watch him play at some point during the season, and he's always been one of my top, priority, top, favorite guys in this class.
Well, the real deal, enough talking about scrimmages, the real deal starts this week. And
yes,
I think you're hitting 3 games this weekend. I'm hitting 3 games this weekend. We'll start with
I actually got 4.
4. Gracious, you got one up me as always. Jason one ups me. So take us through some of the games that you're headed to.
Yeah.
Just the matchups that you're anticipating. Obviously, these games will have an A&M twist because we're out there covering A&M recruits, but still some of the best matchups across the state.
Yeah, I'll be starting the weekend off on Thursday night with a little Wiley East Mount Pleasant matchup in Wiley.
Mount Pleasant's got players.
They do. Miller McCrumbie, big tight end receiver, with several offers, 3-star prospect, a guy that, you ask around, he has a ton of ability. And once that spotlight shines on him, he's primed to add a few more. And then you've got Trey Emery, who defensive tackle.
The dude is an anchor. He is an anvil in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And he's committed to Baylor, but definitely going to be fun to watch him. And at Wiley East, it's not just Anthony James, who I'm really excited to watch really turn it loose this weekend. But, TJ Washington, you mentioned a guy out of Fort Bend as a possible Anais Smith type of guy. TJ Washington, to me, is one of those guys that has that all-around ability. He'll be at quarterback for Wiley East, but he can play DB, he can play receiver, he can play running back. He does a little bit of everything for Wiley East, and he's kind of that straw that stirs the drink. And I think he should be fun to watch on Thursday night. On Friday, I'm going to catch the start of the Chad Morris era at the Tom Landry Classic in Allen and watch the Eagles take on Plano East. Excited to see Nato Umazula and our number 1 in 2023, former Houston area standout, now Allen Eagle, David Hicks.
He's a monster.
He's up to like 270 pounds now. Doesn't look like he has an ounce of fat on him.
Right.
Told me he's been eating chicken and rice all summer. He's ready to go. So he's
well. If you've seen his dad ain't missing any workouts either.
No. So yeah, I got to see him in their inter squad scrimmage a couple weeks ago, and he's going to be an animal out there, and has just been tearing it up on the camp circuit all summer. But yeah, they've got plenty of talent out there in Allen. Offensively, going to have a new quarterback in 2024, Mike Hawkins, whose dad played for the Cowboys. and he's training with, Mr. Kevin Murray and doing a lot of things. So he's a polished quarterback. They've got Zena Umazula at defensive end and several playmakers in between. It's gonna be a fun matchup watching them kick off the Chad Morris area there. And then on Saturday, I've got 2 games on the slate. Got Denton Ryan versus Longview in Frisco at the Jerry Jones Classic, and gonna get to see Anthony Hill and Denton Ryan up against Longview and Jalen Hale. So 2 of the best in
Longview's
in
got a
2020
good underclass running back, right?
Oh yeah, Taylor Tatum is he's also a big time baseball guy too.
Oh,
so
really? Yeah.
a guy you're going to want to put on your radar for that. But yeah, he was a playmaker for him last year, and as Coach King, if you're playing early for Coach King, you're a big time player, and so keep an eye on him. And at the nightcap, I get to go out to Allen again for the second game of the Landry Classic and watch Argyle and Nolan Catholic. See a little Jaden Scarlett in his first game there at Argyle, one of the top programs against one of the tops and taps. Yeah. So and Nolan Catholic with some stout defensive linemen as well.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see like Caleb James. Is it Nolan Catholic, correct?
Yeah.
Etta?
Yeah, Curly Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good private school squad. Argyle's going to have their hands full.
And that'll be a great matchup there. That offensive line is headlined by Argyle's headlined by Sheridan Wilson, but they are strong across the front, and should be a nice matchup. Watching that O-line D-line matchup.
Be interesting to see how Argyle moves on from the C.J. Rogers era. The kid that was fantastic last year for them. They've always got a quarterback. It's just about finding the next one in line, I'm sure. Down here in Houston, I'll kick my year off at Atascocita in Humble. Atascocita against Klein Collins. Obviously there to see Cam Dewberry, but Atascocita's got, as always, Coach Stump does a great job with his guys. Nate Kibble, 2024 offensive lineman who showed well at A&M's camp, has been really good in camps and workout settings. Really like his upside and potential. Looks like the next one at Atascocita, you go from Kenyon Green to Cam Dewberry and now potentially Nate Kibble in the class of 2024. They've got playmakers, a wide receiver, and Keith Wheeler. Atascocita should be pretty good. Klein Collins, a program that, since Isaiah Spiller has left, hasn't produced a ton of big-time guys. But if you'll remember last year, early in the year, they almost beat North Shore very early and took them down to the wire. Very well-coached team, very well-run program. On Friday night, it'll be A&M commit versus A&M commit, and hopefully one-on-one as much as we can all night as Clear Springs travels up to Katy to take on the Tigers. And we'll see Noah Thomas and Bobby Taylor match up. Obviously, Malik Silla, who was out for the Katy playoff run last year with a foot injury. Now he's back healthy and will be, I'm sure, raring to go in their home opener there at Katy. I said this on the radio today, Jason. Gary Joseph's had a lot of really good teams at Katy. And one of the more legendary, iconic coaches and programs in the entire country when it comes to high school football. On paper, this might be his best team.
Ooh, that's saying something right there.
Games aren't won on paper, but when you look at what that defense has got coming back at every level, and you're talking about Ty Kanya at linebacker, we talked about Bobby Taylor. They got Arian Parrish, 2023 safety, who's got offers from USC amongst many other Power Fives. Quarterback comes back. A lot of that offensive line comes back. Seth Davis, the offensive MVP of the state championship game's back. Katy looks like they're going to be another tough out this year, potentially marching their way to another state championship. And then on Saturday, I'll be on the sidelines for the nationally televised game by ESPNU, Bridgeland and Klein Kane, as Connor Wigman kicks off his senior season. Some of the shine may have been taken off of that game with Jaden Blue opting out of his senior year there at Klein Kane. But the Hurricanes got a really good quarterback in Carson Roper, outstanding wide receiver in Matthew Golden, who I think is probably the most underrated skill guy in Greater Houston in the class of 22. So I'm expecting there to be a lot of numbers put up on the scoreboard. And when Connor Wigman gets into shootouts, they're a lot of fun to watch because he kind of just takes the game over and he says, all right, I'm going to score on every possession. It's up for you to keep up with me.
No doubt. And you talk about those commitments. I'm looking at that Houston slate. And I'm not going to lie, man. That Dickinson Manville game's got my attention as well.
That should be fantastic. And Manville, how they scheme up Donovan Green will be fun to watch. It's one of those deals where I wish I could be in two places at once. And Manville is one of my favorite programs to cover and be around. I've gotten to know them through the years, and just like you have with some of those programs in Dallas, whether they've got A&M kids there or not. And they do. They have a 2024 offer at wide receiver and Andre Thompson. But, whether Manville's got A&M guys or not, that's always a program that I like going to watch their games because their coaching staff's so great and they're so much fun to watch. But, yeah, Dickinson is a school that I'm trying to get to early. I tell you who I'm really intrigued about early because I got a fantastic report on him out of the scrimmage last week was Martrell Harris. And we heard when he came for that pool party at A&M and they worked out together, we heard nothing but great things about his athleticism, his combination of side speed and strength. This guy, again, like Malik Silla, missed the last half of last year due to injury, and it's kind of flown under the radar. The A&M coaching staff certainly never backed off of him, and the early returns are that was a good decision to stay on him because he is Billy compared him to Warwick Holdman way back in the day, an A&M linebacker. I don't know. I wasn't doing this back then, but I'm really excited to see what Martrell Harris has turned himself into this summer.
Yeah, and in my area, I'm looking at a couple uncommitted guys that I'm really anxious to see. Bear Alexander, Fort Worth Brewer. He just, I don't know if you saw those highlight clips from last week's scrimmage against Wakeland, but he's chipping guys and rushing a passer. He's clipping the running back and causing a fumble. He's just so explosive off the ball. He looks like he is in a different kind of shape this year than he has been in the past. And I'm really excited to see him do his thing. And then linebacker Anthony Hill. I love 7-on-7, and I love watching these guys. And Anthony Hill certainly does a great job at it. But what he does when the pads come on and in the middle of that Denton Ryan defense is just different level. And I look forward to watching him being all over the field, making plays and in a real football environment.
Who's the best team in Dallas-Fort Worth going into the year?
Ooh, it's hard to go against Duncanville right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they start off the year with Mater Dei on Friday, and that should be a heck of a knockdown drag out. But yeah, Duncanville, with the amount of talent they bring back, you've got A&M target Amari Abor at defensive end. You got Jalen Early and Cam Williams on the offensive line. You've just got so much college level talent on that squad. It'll be interesting. They've had a competition there at quarterback, so they're going to have to answer some questions there. But they have some real playmakers on both sides of the ball and at different levels. I didn't even mention Jordan Crook, who's committed to Arkansas, and so Pierre Gorey, who ran a 10-600 meter as a 200-pound safety.
Wow.
So they've got some dudes out there at Duncanville, and it's going to be fun to watch.
It'll be interesting to see Duncanville. They had their incredible run. They've obviously still got really, really good players. Same can be said down in Houston for North Shore. Had their incredible run. They've still got really, really good players, but there is enough turnover where you're going, who's going to be the next guy at quarterback? Will they be able to protect him? Who is their elite wide receiver talent? They'll find it. Duncanville will find their elite playmakers. They always do, and North Shore will as well. But going into the season, it's less defined as it would be in years past. So, obviously I'm looking at Katy in Greater Houston. I'd have to go North Shore still in my top three. I'll tell you who my third team might be is Fort Bend Marshall. And with what they've got coming back, and you mentioned him briefly, Jacoby Banks pulling the trigger there at quarterback. He's the Anais Smith type, incredible in the open field, throws the ball plenty well enough to do what they want to do on offense. And then Chris Marshall, may have had the most dominant season of any receiver in the state last year as a junior, and he's only gotten better as he's split time between the hardwood and the gridiron, but he's put in a lot of work over the summer and becoming a better overall receiver. Fort Bend Marshall's got a chance to be really good again. I'm just wondering if we're going to get Fort Bend Marshall Alito for what was it, the third time in a row, or third time in the last 4 or 5 years in that state final, because Alito looks like they've reloaded as well. Oh yeah, no doubt. They call it Titletown for a reason. They're going to be strong as ever. With the Llewellyn at tight end, headed to Oklahoma, and they just always have those players that kind of like Katy in a lot of ways. Sometimes they're not the most highly touted, but my goodness, they're always ready to go. They're always tough, and they're always going to take you down to the wire. So they're going to be in every ball game, and they're primed to dominate district and find their way to another state title. Now the obvious for me, one of the big games that really kicks things off on Thursday is that Highland Park South Lake Carroll game. Everybody's wondering what's life going to look like after Quinn Ewers there at South Lake. Well, I think it's going to look pretty similar to what it was before Quinn Ewers, and it's going to be really strong. And that Highland Park South Lake matchup is just, you talk about two titans of high school football, and it should be fun there in Jerry World. South Lake has quite a bit of talent returning, and Landon Sampson, receiver that's committed to South Carolina. Offensive lineman Joe Baker leads a strong offensive line there. He's committed to Kansas. Owen Allen, one of the 2023 guys we don't talk about enough. All the kid's done is start since his freshman year, and last year he rushed for over 2,000 yards. Yep. So, I mean, just RJ Maryland, and then Caden Anderson gets the start there for South Lake. He's only a 6'4", 200-pound, 2023 quarterback who's primed to let it go. Yeah. So, and HP, they're starting a new quarterback as well. So you got Brennan Storr, who's been waiting in the wings there, had an offer since before his freshman year, and he's ready to go. He takes over the helm there, and they're all HP's always going to have guys that they're going to spread you out, they're going to get you in space, and they're going to make you pay. They're going to light up the scoreboard. It should be a fun one there on Thursday night. Well, we would be remiss if we get into this whole episode talking about contenders and left out Austin Westlake, who dominant on their way to the state title last year, beat North Shore, beat South Lake Carroll. They come out of Central Texas without all the hype and all the fanfare of some of these other schools. Cade Klubnik in that defense, and now he's got TJ Shanahan moving in on his offensive line. Obviously, Connor Robertson, Jaden Greathouse, Keaton Kubeka at wide receiver. They are going to be fantastic again, and the Shaps are poised to make another run. And Todd Dodge's last year as a head coach. Yeah, that you got to see who their opponent last week. Temple. I think they play at Temple on Friday, so should be a really fun one to watch right off the bat. You get to see a little bit of a test there. Should be a good matchup with Central Texas programs. Both of them go routinely go a few rounds deep, and in Westlake's case, couple championships in the last few years. Real quick, last thing, best small town team in your area. Man, there's so many to pick from. Salina, Brock. Shoot, man, I really. I'll put you on the one spot I'm most there. I know. I want to say Pilot Point, but man, it's just so hard to pick. But I'm gonna go with Pilot Point. I'm gonna stick with my Homer Aggie pick there. And Coach Marsh will be very excited that you made that pick. So, but yeah, Pilot Point. They've got a few guys. It's not just the Ish Harris show. Now he's going to put on a performance, but they've got some guys, and
and they're going to be fun to watch. Always a well coached team. They went. I want to say they went all the way to the quarterfinals last year. I want to say they lost to Jim Ned, and so they've got some guys, and they'll be fun to watch with Ish Harris helping to lead the way.
Give me the Franklin Lions. Unexpected trip all the way to the state finals last year. They returned just about everybody. They legitimately have probably 4A, 5A, D2, probably 4A, D1 talent, 5A, D2 talent in a 3A Division I school. And keep an eye on a 2024 they've got at safety, Devin Hidrago, freak athlete who I think is going to start popping up on a lot of big-time college recruiting radars very soon. That's good stuff, Jason. That's the opening show, TexAgs High School Football Show. We'll be doing this every week, recording them on Wednesday, probably going to go out on Thursday to get you guys primed and ready for the matchups across the state. For Jason Howell, I'm Ryan Brauninger. Thank you guys for tuning in.